Hey, what's going on? This is Coach Marcus, Pro Fan Hoops in the building. And listen, I've been hearing all of this noise. First off, it is 5:38 p.m. Eastern Time. So we are almost 20 minutes away from the start of the game between Indiana Fever and Seattle Storm. So I'm seeing a lot of noise on social media about how many people don't like what Stephanie White is doing. All these videos keep popping out. Stephanie White is not going anywhere. She's not, they're not going to fire Stephanie White. So one or two things are going to happen. Um, they're either going to figure it out, which is that is what I think is going to happen, or they're going to continue to. Uh, they'll just be average. They're not going to lose all of their games. You know, the two losses that they've had, they played decently. They just didn't come up with the shots on the end. So just like with any team and any coach, they are going to figure some things out. But everybody is so quick to say that Stephanie White can't coach. They're using CC wrong, this, that, and the third, forgetting the fact that she took the Fever to the semifinals last year and should have beaten Las Vegas to go to the finals. The only reason they did not beat Las Vegas is because Kelsey Mitchell ran out of gas. Literally. Her body literally shut down. That is what happened to her, and they had to take her off the court on a stretcher. If Kelsey Mitchell stays in that game, they win and beat Las Vegas and go to the finals. And I believe they beat the Mercury. But it didn't happen. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, don't do nothing but rhyme. But you got to give her props for getting to that point. People forget that. Like everything that happened last year doesn't matter. It's a shame that Caitlin got hurt because if Caitlin is playing in that game, I think they beat Las Vegas. Same situation, and then they have another opportunity to beat the Mercury in the finals if everybody's healthy. But that's the big key in any league. It's about how healthy you can be at the end in the playoffs when it counts. Maybe this situation with Aaliyah Boston is a blessing in disguise. I don't know. I don't know what the extent of her leg injury is. I don't know how long she gonna be out. But if it means having her healthy when it matters, then I'd rather have her healthy when it matters. Now, if you want to backtrack a little bit and now look at the situation and how the team is going to struggle because they didn't have a backup big, Damiris Dantas is not a backup big. She's a power forward that can shoot a three decently, but she is slow as molasses on a cold day. We know that. The good thing about Damiris Dantas is if she can guard somebody in the paint, she is strong and they can't move her. Tierra McCowan couldn't move her last year. Asia Wilson couldn't move her. You give her any big, she will stand her ground in the paint. If she has to move, now you might have a problem. But let us not forget that Stephanie White coached the hell out of that team last year and got them as far as they could go. Again, she can only do so much because she don't shoot jumpers, she don't set picks, and she don't rebound. It's always up to the players. And everybody's talking about the offense, the offense. It's not catering to Caitlin Clark. Well, guess what? It would be catering to Caitlin Clark if the first couple of games she wasn't 2 for 18. She wasn't shooting good. She hadn't found her stroke yet. So credit to Caitlin Clark was taking it mid-range, taking it to the rim. That's what she's supposed to do. And then what happened? Against the last game, against Minnesota. That was Minnesota, right? She found her stroke. She found her stroke. So, you know, these things happen in the league. Happens in the league. So you just got to let things play out. But everybody coming for Stephanie White's head, y'all must have forgot what happened last year. It ain't like Stephanie White can't coach. Admittedly, I'm not crazy about her rotations, but if you play in a certain rotation and that rotation is getting plastered on the court, my guess is she's not going to stick with that rotation. You still trying things, it's still early. For the Fever, this is what, game 4? So you still have a lot of football, a lot of basketball left to play. A hell of a lot of basketball left to play. Holler at me when we get to game 8 and 9. Then you can really see. Now, let me say this. If we are at game 8 or 9, right? And they're still getting 100 points scored on them, and they still losing games, and she's still calling the same rotations. Now you have room to criticize. Now you have room to say, hey, if Stephanie White ain't gonna do what she need to do to get this team better, then maybe they need to get her out of here. Now you can talk that talk, but right now it's too early, and right now she ain't the problem. The problem is coming down the stretch, we not making shots. Kelsey Mitchell had an opportunity to go up one. She missed both free throws. How many times has Kelsey Mitchell missed both free throws? And was going back and forth. Nobody wanted the game. That's why Indiana is losing. I have a stat that I keep track of. This is not an official stat or anything like that. This is just my philosophy in my head, the way I look at things, and the way how I can be critical of any player on the court, whether I like them or not. I got to keep it real, got to keep it 100. You look at any team, their shooting percentage, and you figure out how many of their open shots did they make. That is the team that's usually going to win the game. The team that makes the most of their open shots usually is going to win the game. Defense does what defense does. If you come across a team with a good defense and you got to put up contested shots and you're not getting good looks, you're always off balance, you can't get a clean look at the rim, that's defense doing what it's supposed to do. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you run the offense, whether you like it or not, you run the offense, you run the play, you get open, you come off the screen clean, you got the open look that you want. You're driving to the basket, you got the lane. If you miss the layup, if you get the open look and you miss the shot, that is the key between winning and losing. That is the key right there. So it's not necessarily her offense. It is always, and it always will be, player execution failure. It doesn't matter what you're running. If the players on the court are not executing to a high degree, most likely you will lose. Every now and then, you get some anomalies. You look at the game today, Las Vegas had Atlanta dead to rights. Then all of a sudden, it was good until it wasn't. Las Vegas couldn't hit a shot. And they got all the way to the end, less than 3 seconds left to go, and Chelsea Gray makes the shot and gets the steal on the other side to seal the game. And if she doesn't make that play, if she doesn't make the big play at the right time, Las Vegas loses that game when they were in control more than half of that game. But you got to play 4 quarters. So stop worrying about is Stephanie and trying to get Stephanie fired. If they fire Stephanie White, who they bringing in? Because what most people don't think about is now you got to bring in a new coach. Now you got a new voice. Now you got a new philosophy. Maybe they don't like some of the stuff that Stephanie White was doing, but maybe some of the stuff Stephanie White was doing was successful with a particular player. And there is no guarantee that whoever they bring in is going to get a different result. Whoever they bring in, if it was Lisa Bluter or it doesn't matter. If Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham and Aaliyah Boston and Damiris Dantas, if they are not hitting their shots, it does not matter who the coach is. It doesn't matter. Stephanie White ain't going nowhere. It's up to the players on the court to make the shots when they get open shots, period. If you don't like the offense, if you don't like the inbound play that was called, if you don't like the strategy, there's certain things that you can criticize her for. But every game this year, every game, and it's not been a lot of games because we got the small sample size too. Let's not forget about that. But all of the games, Indiana had an opportunity to win every game. Indiana could possibly be undefeated if they would have made their shots, period. Indiana has not been blown out. They've been in every game. They've had opportunities to win. Even the other day when Dallas was shooting like 57% from three, they shot 52 and 57% from the floor and from three. And Indiana still had an opportunity to tie that game. And the same thing happened the other night when they went to overtime. But when push came to shove, they couldn't make the shots. So forget all of the nonsense you hearing. Watch the ball, watch what's going on the court. And when the Fever get open shots, are they hitting their shots?